If we've seen one thing in the story so far, it's that after things went wrong in the garden, the relationship between humans and God was less than perfect. But time after time, God continued to rescue and provide for humans. We left off with the Israelites wanting a king like other nations. So God used the prophet Samuel to select a man named Saul. Saul was strong and popular and seemed like the perfect choice for a king. And at first, Saul did a great job. But eventually, he turned his back on God and started to do what he wanted instead of what God wanted. So God began looking for another man who could be Israel's king. God used Samuel once again, this time predicting that a young shepherd boy named David would succeed Saul as king. David's own family thought the idea was crazy. David was the youngest of 7 brothers, and the other 6 were all bigger, stronger, and more fit to be the king. Until one day, when David showed he had exactly what it took. Israel was at battle with the Philistines, and they were being mocked and threatened every day by a giant soldier named Goliath. Though no soldier in Israel's army would stand up to Goliath, David ran into battle against him, armed with only a slingshot and some stones. David slung the stone and knocked Goliath down, then cut off his head. Now, David became something like an instant celebrity in Israel, sort of like LeBron James, just with a slingshot instead of a basketball and, well, no $20 million a year contract. And eventually, David did in fact become king of Israel. He was a totally different kind of king than Saul was, committed to God and committed to being the blessing to others that God had always wanted Israel to be. He wasn't perfect, but he was somebody who loved and followed God. Eventually, David passed his kingship to his own son, Solomon. Solomon grew up to become the wisest man who ever lived, using his great wisdom to help the Israelites make very difficult decisions, and also to write books of wisdom found in the Bible. The funny thing is that even with all that wisdom, Solomon made his share of mistakes as well. He married women for political alliances and protection instead of trusting God. Eventually, his lack of trust left the kingdom vulnerable. For all his great wisdom, he led the people to trust in the wrong things. Yet, under Solomon's rule, Israel was peaceful and prosperous. But if we've been paying any attention to the story so far, times like these don't seem to last very long. It was only a matter of time after Solomon died that Israel would find itself in a whole new world of trouble. And yet, as always, God would provide a way out.